Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be setting up our February sinking funds. If you haven't already checked out my February budget, definitely go check that out. I posted that yesterday. So I kind of walk through and explain all of the items that are in our budget and all the things that are changing and some rationale behind all of it. So today we're gonna go ahead and do our sinking funds like I mentioned. And the way that I like to set up my planner, and I feel like this is useful, so I'll just kind of really quickly go into it, is here is where I will put down my monthly sticker sheet here just to cover up what Erin Condren does with the planner and just make it a little bit more uniform with what I'm doing on the rest of the pages. Here, I don't really use this section a lot. I do have a hope that I'm going to put together some type of sticker sheet so I can use this more functionally. I used it a little bit during the summer, but I just found that I wasn't using it as much as I should, so I haven't been using it recently. Then here I'll put my February budget, my weekly check-in. I like having those two right next to each other so that as I'm checking in every week, I can look at my budget, refer to it, and it's right there. It also helps having the weekly check-in on this page because then my hand isn't like going against the coil. I really don't like that. Here I will have my sinking funds. So I believe what I do is I put my, let's see, where do I put my transaction log? Let me just look. I always kind of have to refer back because I'm never sure. Okay, so I put my sinking funds here and then my transaction log here. I think I do that because at the end of the month when I have to fill in my ending, I don't want to be against the coil. So transaction log here, sinking funds here. The reason why I do my transaction log here, when I created the transaction log, I intended it to be used with the sinking funds because I don't keep track of my sinking funds in my monthly view. In my mind and in reality, they're completely separate accounts, and so I like to just track that separately. It makes sense in my mind, I promise. Then the next two pages are all my business related stuff. So I have a business budget. I also have a like expense tracking sticker here. I do all of my budgeting, like all of it. Business, personal, everything in my planner. I'm definitely like a paper and pen type of person. I understand why people like to use other things like apps and spreadsheets and other stuff, but for me, this has just worked. I've been doing it for like almost 4 years now, and if it's not broken, I'm not gonna try and fix it. I love doing it that way. And then the last thing that I track is our net worth. I do that every month just to get an idea of like how we're progressing throughout the year. So yeah, and then I have an extra page. So if there's anything going on, if we have a vacation planned and we have some vacation expenses, I do like to track some things separately, but for the most part right now, there's not anything unusual that I need to track. So let's go ahead and get into our sinking funds. So I have a couple of things here. I like to use, actually I can just use a new washi because I'll need two. So sinking funds and then transaction log. So that's what I'm gonna need. I think last month I set this up beforehand for you guys, but I did not do that today. So we're just gonna try and go quickly and set it up so you guys aren't watching me like just put stickers down. I think some of you guys probably don't mind it because if you're watching my stuff, you probably like stickers and paper and all of that fun stuff. Okay, so this month for sinking funds, the amount is actually going to stay exactly the same. I said this in my sinking fund video for 2021, but my hope is that every month it's the same exact amount. I want to just try and keep what I had in mind in the beginning of the year as like what I keep it as. Of course, if things happen, if I need to make adjustments, I will, but for the most part, I want to try and keep it to be the same. Okay, so I do have my rough draft budget off to the side. I do this every single time before I actually start budgeting for the month. I like doing it because I can set up everything, get a clear picture of what we're working on, what we're, potentially going to save. I can talk it over with Jason. I can make adjustments. It also gives me some time to like think about what I'm putting down and if there's anything that I'm forgetting. So I do have that off to the side and that's what I'm basing everything off of. So I'm gonna start by just writing in all of the categories. I think we do have 20 sinking funds, and I do keep all of these sinking funds in one checking account. It's a completely separate checking account from the one that we use for like our regular bills and stuff like that. I do that because I've heard and I've known with experience that like if you do too many transactions with a savings account that you can be charged. So I don't do many. I think I do like 1 transaction a month with the sinking funds account because I'm just like truing it up. But for that, you know, I don't want to complicate things. I just want to be able to use the money as I want. So I use a sinking fund account in a checking account. And all of these 20 are in one account. I don't have separate accounts for each sinking fund, but I do keep track of them here. That's how I know what's going on. Today we're just gonna be putting in what we're adding for February because I haven't closed out January's just yet. I'll probably do that off camera. So the first thing that we have is beauty. So this will be my makeup, face wash, stuff like that. I don't spend a ton of money on makeup. It's honestly just my foundation. And then my face wash, I use Clinique Acne Solutions. I've used that since college when my face was really bad. I had a lot of acne in college. And so it has just worked really well for me and I don't want to change something that's working. So when you buy, like, I think there's like 3 pieces of it. You have to get like the face wash, there's like a toner, and then the lotion. And when you buy all 3, it ends up being like $100 or something. So it's a little bit more pricey. I don't know how much most people spend on face wash, but it's definitely something that's worth it because it's worked for a long time. So beauty. Next we have car insurance, and actually in February our car insurance will come out of our sinking fund, so we will see something coming out in February. Next we have car maintenance, so this is for like oil changes and new tires and anything that may come up. I believe now both of our cars are no longer in like the service warranty or service package, so we're paying for oil changes and everything like that out of pocket. We no longer get anything free from the dealership. Next we have car tags. So in Illinois you have to buy a sticker every year just saying that like your registration's up to date, so that's for that. Next we have chat books. This is something that we use for the girls. It has all of their pictures in it, so it's just an app. I favorite pictures on my iPhone and they pull directly into this app. When you have 60 pictures, it prints for like $10 and it has worked so well. Macy has over 20 books now. I think Mila's on her 4th one. And it's just gonna be a really fun thing to have, especially because for me, I don't have any pictures of myself as a kid and I really wanted the girls to have it. I always loved like scrapbooking and all of that, but when you have kids, like I just started getting back into reading, there's no way that I have time for scrapbooking. So this is just the best solution for photos for us. And I think I mentioned this before, but Macy has her own pictures, and so her chat books will be all of her, or like if she's in pictures with us or if she's in pictures with Mila, those pictures will be in her book. If there's a picture that's Mila and Macy, then both of them get them in their own books. Because my thought is when they're older, they can take those books and have those in their own homes. Their kids can look at it, all of that fun stuff. Next we have Christmas, and this is actually a category that includes other gifts as well. So Easter, birthdays, all of that fun stuff. I can just put Christmas/gifts. But this has worked out really well for us because when birthdays come up, when Christmas comes, we have the money set aside. Next we have clothes, and we separate all the clothes out. So we have clothes for Jason, clothes for the girls. I do combine them because Macy does have like hand-me-down clothes that Mila can use. And so for the most part, I think Macy is gonna be the one using most of the clothes, or yeah, the clothes money here. I'm pretty sure right now she has holes in all of her leggings. And I mentioned that, and someone said that you can actually return the leggings. So I may actually go and do that and exchange them, because if that's the case, that's an awesome perk to, you know, buying them from Target. But I'll definitely have to look into that. So clothes for all of us. Then we have Costco. So this is just for our membership. It's $60 a year. We also have diapers. So Mila obviously is going to be in diapers for a while, so we just set money aside so that we can pick up diapers and wipes. Normally when we pick up diapers or wipes, we pick up a bunch so that we don't have to worry about it. We have a good stock at home, and so it's usually bigger trips, which is why I like to just put money aside in a sinking fund. Next we have entertainment. So this is for you know, if we want to go do something that is outside of what we normally do, if we, in the past, if we wanted to go see movies, or if we wanted to go ice skating or skiing, this would come in handy. Nowadays, it's usually like renting movies on demand, or, you know, going for like a milkshake date where you just drive through the drive-through. But regardless, we have some money set aside for doing like fun other things. Next, we have family pictures. This includes like our annual family pictures that we take. It also includes like school pictures for Macy. If I ever print any new pictures, which I desperately need to do, that money would come out of family pictures. Next, we have is golf, and this is for Jason. Jason loves to go golfing, and so we put a little bit of money aside so that when spring, summer, and fall come, he can go golfing and not have to worry about like using his allowance or anything like that. Then we have home maintenance. So this is, you know, all things home. So if we need a new dryer, or if we need paint, or whatever it may be for our home, that comes out of home maintenance. We used it during the summer for a fence that knocked down. We don't use this very often. I mean, knock on wood, we haven't had a ton of issues with our home, especially not lately. So that is there. Eventually, when we get a new house, I'm definitely going to increase this, because we're hoping that we have a larger home, and I just want to like prepare for, you know, having to get a new roof or a new whatever. So in the future, this amount will be a lot more than what it is now. Next, we're going to be adding medical. So what I did for medical, and I'll talk about this as I'm adding in the amount, but in the past, I've tried to put our out-of-pocket deductible or out-of-pocket max in our sinking funds, and now with our new insurance that's like part of me being self-employed, that amount would be a huge number, and I don't want money like that tied up. We, for the most part, are pretty healthy. Jason does have a heart condition, and so he does have to go and get, you know, annual doctor's appointments and echocardiograms and all of that fun stuff. But even with that, if nothing abnormal happens, our medical bills per year are around $500. And so I don't want to put thousands of dollars into a sinking fund when we will not need it. So I'm gonna put aside a little bit of money so that if we have like little doctor's appointments here or there, it'll cover that, but I don't wanna tie up a ton of money when we don't need to. We do have an emergency fund, which is completely separate from this. So if Jason needed heart surgery, and if our budget can't, like if we can't plan for it and save for it, which usually we have time to do that, then we could always use our emergency fund. We always have money set aside in our checking and normal savings account. So we do have money set aside in case something like that happens, but I don't want that tied up in medical, if that makes any sense. This is going to be more for like things that, you know, doctor's appointments, or if like the kids get sick and need to go to the doctor, this will cover that. It's not gonna cover Jason's heart surgery. So medical, then we have tolls. So in Illinois, we do have tolls, and we have an iPass. So this is just putting money aside so that when we go through the tolls and need to like refresh that money, we have it set aside. We do have a couple bills in here. So we have trash. We do pay our trash every 3 months. So I just put a third of it away, so when it comes due, we have the money. We also have vacation. So I honestly have no idea when we'll go on vacation, but it's just nice putting the money aside so that when we do want to, we'll have the money. And then last is going to be water. So our water and sewer bill comes in every 2 months. So again, we just put half of that away so that when it comes due, we have the money set aside. I know that a lot of people choose to just add that into their normal budget and like just have, you know, have those come through. I like to try as much as I can to even out our budget, and you can see that like with our sinking fund staying the same hopefully all year. I don't know why, but for me, I would just prefer that. I don't like huge dips, and I kind of like that because if we are working on a goal or a financial goal, we kind of have an idea of, okay, as long as our income stays roughly the same, and as long as we don't spend anything crazy, like we can expect to save this amount, or we can expect to put this amount towards whatever goal we're working on. So that's just my personal preference, but I know people do things other ways, and that's totally fine. You just have to find what works best for you. So now my lines are in, so we can move on to what we're adding. This month we are adding we're adding, I was gonna say $13,000, $1,390 to our sinking funds. These are roughly the same, so if you guys have seen my January one, it's gonna be roughly the same except for like the fact that we are adding medical. And I didn't mention this before, but I did take our cell phones out of here because I did prepay them until April, and then in May we're just gonna start having a monthly expense of $80. I'll send Jason's mom the $80. We're doing like a family plan with them. We've been doing that, I think, since I was in college. So anyway, we'll just add that to our budget when we need to start paying that again. So in terms of beauty, I add in $50 per month. So again, this will cover foundation, face wash, stuff like that. Car insurance, we've been doing $150, and when we get our car insurance bill in February, I'll reevaluate and see if we can lower that or if we need to add more. I think we'll be in good shape. I try to base it off of like what the last 6 months were, and unless we're not in some type of crash or we have any claims, it's usually around the same amount. For car maintenance, we've been doing $50, so we'll go ahead and add that in as well. Car tags are $35 per month. Chapbooks, we have been doing $10 per month. And honestly, the girls probably get chapbooks every 3-4 months. When you're not doing anything, like when you're at home a lot, there's not a lot of pictures that like get taken. I need to be better about that, but honestly, it's easier to do that when you're like out with friends or out doing fun stuff. And so I don't anticipate needing a ton of money for chapbooks anytime soon. For Christmas and gifts, we do $250 per month. Most of this has to do with Christmas. It's just saving up for Christmas, but we do occasionally have to buy presents for people. Then for clothes, we do $50 per person. So $50 for Jason, $100 for the girls, and then $50 for me. And I actually used some of my sinking funds for new boots. I bought some what are they called? They're like shorter boots. I know there's a word for them, like booties or something, but I ruined a pair of mine. I don't know how. They were in my suitcase one of the times that I visited my sister, and now there's some type of like oil mark or something on them. So they were my favorite boots. I've had them for a while, but they're completely ruined. I've tried to clean them. It's just not coming out. So I bought some of those. You guys will see that when I close out my sinking funds. I did not go over my sinking fund though, which I am really happy to say. So clothes for all of us are $50 per month per person. Costco is $5 per month. I know it sounds ridiculous to put $5 away for it, but hey, I don't like to have big swings in our budget, so $60 would definitely feel like a little swing. Diapers, we do $100 per month. This may be like way more than what we need, but that's completely okay. Again, we like to stock up, so I just want to make sure the money is there. Entertainment, we've been doing $50 per month. I suspect if things go more back to normal that we'll increase that. We used to do $100 per month, but again, right now we're just renting movies and stuff, so you don't need a ton of money for that. Family pictures, we do $25 per month, and we do $25 per month for golf as well. Home maintenance, we've been doing $50 per month. Medical, we're gonna do $50. Again, I mentioned this in a different video. Where's my calculator? So what I did is I took a look back at our medical bills for 2020, and we did have like an extra medical bill for Macy because she had a sore throat. School made her go and like get checked out because of everything going on. And so we had that, but I took a look at like that and also Jason's heart appointments. And when I did that, I realized that our medical bills were roughly $500. So if I do $50 per month $50 per month, that'll bring us to $600 for the year, and that will be plenty. Again, as long as nothing crazy happens, which we don't anticipate happening, then we'll be covered. And it's just nice to have some money there because you never know, and we could always add more if we wanted to, but it will cover like little things here and there. Next is going to be tolls. So we do $10 per month for tolls. Trash, we do $30 per month. Vacation, we've been doing $250. and water we do $50 per month. So that brings us to a total of $1,390. And that actually ends up being the same exact amount that we did in January, because we were putting away $50 for cell phones, and now we're no longer having cell phones here, but we're adding $50 for medical. So it ends up being the same exact thing. My 2021 budget is going to be off because, again, now our cell phones are $80 per month instead of $50, and I didn't account for the medical bill either, or like putting medical into our sinking funds. So there's little differences. It's nothing extreme, and my thought is when something big changes, like when we sell our house, potentially buy a new house, then I'll reevaluate and make changes to my 2021 budget. But for right now, they're not big enough changes for me to make any, make a whole new spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, but a whole new spread. So anyway, that is it for our sinking funds. The last thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and set up my transaction log. I like doing this just so that, like, when I finally do close out my January sinking funds, I do have a place where I can start putting in like any transactions that we tend to have. Honestly, we don't have a ton of transactions nowadays. It's really rare when we have a bunch of transactions, but it's just nice to have it set up. Now that I have done this, I will probably go through, I'll set up the rest of my schedules, and then I will go and get our cash out for our cash dividers. We only do a few cash items now. We stopped doing a lot of cash when everything happened and people started, not having change and all of that. So for the most part, it's just like allowances and stuff. And I've thought about potentially doing it where I don't have cash for my allowance, because most of my allowance is going towards buying books online and buying coffee, which I do through the app. So I'm just putting money into our bank like right after I use it. But I kind of like the idea of just having it so I don't go over. So we'll see. I may change that starting in March, but for right now, I think I'm just gonna stick with the cash. So that is it for our sinking funds. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I try, like, every time I do one of these videos to really, like, explain everything. I try and explain like what accounts we use and my thoughts behind everything, the kind of back end research that I do to come up with these numbers. But if you guys have any questions, if I didn't cover something, let me know down below and I'll try and answer them as quickly as I can. But that is pretty much it for the sinking fund video. Let me know down below, did you add any new sinking funds for February? I feel like, especially if you're starting new with January, like if you're starting brand new and starting to, budget, February is usually the month where people start adding because they realize, oh, I should have done this, oh, I should have remembered this. So let me know if you're adding something in February. Again, we took one away and we added one, so we're still left with 20, but I feel like now with all of the items that we have in our budget, all of the items that we have in our sinking funds, we normally cover most of our expenses. It's very rare that we have like miscellaneous stuff, and especially now with adding medical, I think we're going to be in really good shape. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.